You can make a difference. You can give hope to a child.
Welcome to another episode of One on One. My name is David Stahl, and today we're joined by prayer partner Tim from here in Holland. So Tim, how are you today?
I'm doing well, David. How about yourself?
I'm doing great too.
Nice.
Tell us about the mentor and student that you support with prayer.
Well, you know, it's pretty amazing. The mentor, his name is Nate, and he's been a friend of mine, goes to my church, and his student is Brian in elementary school, a young guy. And it's just been a pleasure to walk alongside them over the past few months. I've only been at this, a short time, but it's just been a great way to support them and get a little insight into Brian's story, the student, so I can pray kind of for him, not even while they're meeting.
And so what grade is he in?
I believe second grade.
Second grade, okay. Yeah, you know, that's a grade where kids have a lot of needs, so I'm sure that those prayers are abundant and probably endless. But
A lot.
What motivated you to become a prayer partner? Because you said you haven't been at it that long.
Yeah, right. And that's been part of the cool thing, is to see how quickly it just seems to make a big difference in the mentoring relationship. So it was actually, I was kind of walking with my friend Nate. He was thinking about, hey, can I plug in and serve? He was looking at a couple different opportunities to serve kids in the community, and we kind of prayed together before Kids Hope came up, and he said, Kids Hope is kind of where God was leading him.
Wow.
And so when he said that, he said, hey, there's this prayer partner thing, and I was familiar with it through church, and he said, would you be that person for me? And I said, oh, of course, I'd be honored to. So that's how I got into it, because we kind of journeyed towards Kids Hope together.
Okay.
And then ever since then, it's been a real blessing for
So it
me.
was just a simple little ask.
It was easy. And of course, I didn't know a lot about it, but he was like, you know what? It's just, I meet with him 1 hour a week. So if you could just cover us in prayer during that time, and then just think of us throughout the week and lift up a prayer when you can. I was like, I can do that. Or I sure hope I can. So pretty simple.
Well, that's great. That was when you started as a prayer partner. Now, on an ongoing basis, what motivates you each week to pray those prayers faithfully?
Well, I think part of it's the teamwork. I think I see the mentor and I working as a team, that he's not going in there alone, and that we're really kind of encountering this mentoring relationship together. And so I think of it as like, I wouldn't want to enter, a sports arena if I was on a basketball team to be all by myself. We're coming at this thing together. So I know that's happening. I have an alarm on my cell phone that says, hey, prayer partner time. And I got to confess,
right?
Sometimes it surprises me. And I'm like, all right, hey, got to pray. But it's been a real joy to know that I'm doing it with somebody. So I'm not just praying on my own from a distance.
And Tim, you brought up an interesting point, and that is the whole combined effort of you and your mentor that you support. Now, we've had data that's been collected across the country that shows that with Kids Hope USA, the most impactful thing that happens, sometimes worded as far as the thing that has the greatest impact on students, is an engaged prayer partner. Now, as a prayer partner, when you hear about and know about data like that, why do you think that's true, that an engaged prayer partner makes all the difference in the world?
Yeah. I think at first there's on a real practical level that, hey, there's somebody thinking about me, there's somebody supporting me. As a mentor knows that he can always go to somebody else who's caring about, focusing on the same thing. And I think there's a certain confidence that brings to a mentor. But that's all on a real, just tangible level. But if you take it a step deeper too, to know that, I engage in this prayer partner thing, knowing that I believe God shows up in ways that are really powerful when this happens. So you can say that this does a whole lot just by being present and being another person, but I really believe the Holy Spirit moves in some powerful ways when somebody else prays. And that's something that is amazing, because often that will go kind of unnoticed or uncategorized, but when the stats come back and say, Kids Hope was a success because of this is so impactful, that's amazing. And so it's very simple but very important work that we do as a mentor and prayer partner team.
Yeah, and let's dig into that a little bit.
Please.
As far as, what do you like to hear from your mentor that allows you to engage in prayer each
Yeah.
week?
Well, in our specific situation, without going into too much detail, our student had been traveling and been seeing some family abroad. And so actually kind of got started in the semester late with his school. And so I was able to say, hey, God, there's a lot that's going on in this young man's life. And knowing some of those details and some of them that were like, wow, I pray that he returns safely to the United States and back to school. And you get an insight into a child's life, and you think about a child encountering their world and just they're still a very vulnerable little person, but someone so deeply loved by God. So you get to kind of come into that space and kind of cover it in prayer to the best of your ability, and just let God do the rest from there.
And how often do you like to receive updates from your mentor so that you know how to pray?
Yeah, for a while, I was getting updates weekly, just via email, saying, hey, this is how it went, da 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 da. And, we kind of got into a different rhythm that came to be about every other week we'd get an email update, and then we would touch base in person. You either see each other on Sunday morning or just go grab lunch or a cup of coffee after work someday and just catch up and in our conversation say, hey, here's how Kids Hope's going, here's how you can pray. So about once a week on average, and that was really helpful. It helps me to think that, that I actually am doing more too,
Right.
It's a good thing.
Well, and I have to believe that for your mentor, he doesn't feel like he's out there doing it alone because
Right.
he has you as wingman here who's helping him out.
Yeah.
Now, have you, without getting into details and all that, have you seen any prayers answered?
I would say definitely. I mean, really, that this relationship has continued. Like I said, it kind of got off to a late start, and sometimes, it's tough to get something off the ground. If you're like, oh, I missed the first few times, or I had to miss this, but their relationship has really continued. It's continued to blossom. And when I hear back from my mentor that, hey, my student's really sharing a little bit more about his home life, or I can ask him just more about how his family's doing, like it's just really answers to prayer. That their relationship has some real trust to it. And for a young person, and really this adult stranger who started as a stranger and now is a friend and trusted mentor, that's a huge answer to prayer.
So it sounds like you've prayed quite a bit about the mentor-student relationship, that would go well.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I guess I could sit and pray that our student would get better grades, but I think that's a great side effect of the mentoring program. But really, that relationship has been incredibly transformative for them.
And if you were to stand in front of your church and have the task of recruiting more prayer partners, how would you go about doing that? What would you say to a congregation of people there as far as why come on board and be a prayer partner?
Yeah. It's a simple temptation to say it's easy and anybody can do it, which is very true. And at the same time, it's incredibly important. I mean, if you're looking to get involved in something that has somewhat of a low time commitment, a structured time, but something that has so much impact in multiple lives, your mentor, their student, probably that student's family and their classroom and that whole entire school community, I would say this is really where you'd want to invest your time, and not a ton of it. I don't want to harp on that and say it's not a big deal, but you're looking at, if you're going to devote a few hours or something a week, the impact this has is incredible. So I would just say simply, and anybody can do that. Right. I look at some of the folks in my family. I have brothers who work in all different industries. I have 3 brothers, and one of them works on a factory line, and I'm like, dude, I know that you have time to pray. And he's like, I do, man. And so when anybody in any career can be a prayer partner and make a huge impact.
That's
so it's an
wonderful.
easy sell to the congregation.
Well,
as far as I'm
you did a good
concerned.
job of selling it right there. Final question is, complete this sentence. Hope is blank. How would you complete that?
I would say hope is growing trust. I look at the mentoring relationships, the one that my mentor's in, and then the ones that I know of as part of our friends and family, and just that trust grows, that there is an adult who cares for me. There's a community of people who care for me at Kids Hope, at a local church, because that's one of the big partnerships that we have. So as that trust grows, I think hope grows as well.
Tim, what a great thought about trust. And as we move forward with relationships everywhere, we know that we're trusting a mentor and a student to have this life-giving, life-changing relationship form. And what an amazing amazing part of our program to have somebody like Tim appealing to heaven on behalf of each of those individual relationships so that they form and they form well. So as prayer partners, please know that what you're doing is helping that life-giving, life-changing relationship to really form. Because when you have a prayer partner like Tim, then what's going to happen is that heaven is going to be alerted to the need for that relationship to form and to form well. Because we all know that when a mentor and a student form a great relationship, that life change will happen. And just like we all know, when you change a life, it's no small change.
So I feel